morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Gino Calore here with CEO Effectiveness, and incredibly privileged and humbled to have our guest, Miss Christina Garcia, here with us today. Miss Garcia, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, the pleasure is completely ours, and we are just so thankful that you were able to carve in some time for us. We know you're very busy. You've got tons of cases that your firm is working on, and we just really appreciate you taking some time this morning to share your insights, to share your wisdom, and you know, the incredible journey that you've had as an entrepreneur, as an attorney, as a business leader, and as a wife and a mother. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, you know, in addition, I know folks who are attending that they have been privy to your background and your accomplishments, but if you could you just speak just for a few moments about how you decided to get into the field of law and become an attorney? What kind of did it for you?
Well, if I'm being completely honest, the O.J. Simpson trial, I was in middle school, and it struck a nerve of fairness and justice in that trial, and it really started to intrigue me. So if I'm being completely honest.
Love it.
But I was always kind of attracted to law. Since I was a young child, my parents would say, oh, she's going to be a lawyer the way she likes to argue, right? So it kind of was my calling. I had a psychology undergrad and a criminology undergrad, but ultimately law seemed like the best fit. And I wanted a profession I could help people. So I picked family law. So it's nice.
That's fantastic. So within family law, you know, it's interesting because I know there's a lot of different facets to it, right? What would you say is the most favorite thing you enjoy about family law?
Well, probably truly working with people and doing something that matters, as opposed to, like, I tried some corporate law and it just wasn't my jam because It was just kind of dollars at the end of the day, and I needed that passion of the interpersonal relationships. So, I mean, particularly I like child custody and I like stuff that involves children because I'm very passionate about that. So that would definitely be probably my favorite part of the job. Toughest, but favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing. So, Christina, you've had an incredible career up to this point, right? You've started your own firm. You're doing very well. You guys are growing. You're very well known in town, right? So as a successful and prominent attorney, in your opinion, what have been the keys to the doors of success for you?
So, you know, I would tell you probably a lot of it has been really marketing, but beyond marketing is forming the relationships with people. And I think that people, marketing is a misnomer, and people think you go to events and throw out some cards, but I think really building relationships and showing interest and genuinely, you know, wanting to get to know people has really been what has helped me be successful. And I think people know when people are genuine, and I think that's really been a big, you know, way that I help to market and build the practice, and then obviously the service for the clients. So those have been some of the bigger points for me.
So it's amazing, right? That what goes into the recipe that is relationship management, right? And building trust and building rapport. I think so many folks often forget, because we live in such a digital age where everybody wants a push button solution, right? Where sometimes it just takes time, right? It takes consistent touch points and being able to build and foster the bond within those relationships. Because, and I have to assume, right, especially in the type of law that you practice, referrals are everything, right? I mean, being able to have people speak highly of you and the work that your firm does, that really carries your firm to the next level.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly it, right? The push buttons, the top of mind awareness, all of those type of things, you know, the follow up with people, the really listening. You know, every time I go to a lunch with somebody, I ask myself when I get back, you know, what can I follow up? Did they tell me their daughter Sadie's birthday is in 3 days? And so in, you know, the Monday following, hey, how was Sadie's birthday? Great having lunch with you. It's those type of things where you show a genuine interest in them and you're not just sitting there selling yourself and self-absorbed, that I think really does help from the marketing perspective. Obviously, the other side is the service you provide. And so, you know, for me, it's really been clients are absolutely number one, no matter what. It's pure satisfaction, as happy as they can be during a divorce or child custody. But I give my cell phone to every single client. I make myself as available as possible. I understand this is one of the worst times in their life, and anxiety that presents at this time. And so really knowing, like, when they come and they call you and they're frustrated, that it's coming from a place of anxiety. They're not attacking you. And so obviously, you know, you take a professional stance and calm them down and things like that. But I think that's important.
I have to assume, so I know you said your undergrad had a degree in psychology as well, right? So I have to assume that must help in some regard, right? Especially when you're helping your clients navigate those waters of stress and anxiety and ambiguity with a situation. It's an incredible skill set that you have, though, between, you know, kind of being the person that's a shoulder for them to cry on, so to speak, and then also guiding kind of the path for them to get to that next chapter in life. That's an incredible thing.
Yeah, psychology has definitely helped me in this field, so I'm glad to have it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, in your experience, so you have an office. How large is your staff now? Your team?
So we have 5 full-time family law attorneys. We do nothing but family law. So 5, but it's sizable for a full-time family law firm. But in
Absolutely. No. I mean, but that's significant, right? So leadership is a very real thing for you, right? I mean, as the principal in the firm and what you do, in your opinion, what is the most effective way to lead others?
Positivity. I think, you know, it's like positive reinforcement. It's always complimenting them in a sincere manner. It is really demonstrating and showing them what I expect and I want. We have like zero tolerance. You know, a lot of firms have problems with gossip and cattiness and issues, and we have a zero tolerance for any kind of drama in the workplace. And there is zero here, and it's the only place I've ever worked that there is zero. But I'm very proud of that. It's a mutual respect. You know, they're adults. I treat them like adults. And so, you know, they put, you know, you put in what you get out. And I think that they really feel, again, the genuine caring. I really worry about their quality of life. I mean, I can't remember if I don't think I've ever said no to a time off request, ever. Like, and I tell, you know, other people that run companies, if you can say yes, because if you say no, you're going to pay for it. So, I mean, unless it's really going to jam you up, you know, things like that, though, matter. And so really seeing things from their perspective, and this isn't their only part of their life, right? You've got to appreciate beyond these doors of your office what's important to them. And so I think all that. And again, the genuine interest. Hey, how was your husband's birthday this weekend? Or, you know, I know you're going to the beach this weekend. How was it? Things like that matter. And that's, again, forming relationships. So it's really the key to everything in life.
It's amazing, right? Because especially from a leadership perspective, when you look at how important it is to have balance, right, in the workplace and be able to facilitate a relationship with your employees and folks who fall within your leadership, that, listen, you know, we know you have a personal life as well. We respect that, right? And then being able to give them that time. You know, it's interesting. Our founder, Dr. Bill Anton, he always says, he goes, you know, optimal levels of performance happen at intermediate levels of drive, right? And so when you're pedal to the metal and it's go, 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 and you're worrying about your boss being in your ear and then your family, you start making mistakes, right?
So
and then you burnout, right? And so at the same token, you don't want low levels of drive because then you're just on the couch eating Cheetos, not doing anything, right? But that intermediate level, being able to have that balance with family, with work, with relationships in general, I think that's something clearly you have been able to grasp your hands around. You really drive forward in your firm, which is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. So, all right, so let's get into some nitty gritty stuff, right? So what is the most challenging thing that you have endured in your career?
Probably starting this firm only 3.5 years after graduating law school, right? So still kind of learning what's going on in the law. And
I had no idea.
Oh yeah. So I was 29 years old and I knew in law school, I wanted to work for myself. I wanted a firm. And so it was going to happen. It just probably happened a little sooner than maybe I had anticipated, but it worked great. Yeah. So I think just at that, you know, you're in your 20s, you're still 20. So as soon as I had started the firm, I got married and got pregnant the following year. So talk about work-life balance.
Like one thing after the other, right?
And bought a house, you know, all of it, right? So that was probably the most challenging, is really just doing it all in that first year. But it worked.
But what a gauntlet to go. I mean, incredible blessings, right? Great things that are happening, but it's just stacked right on top of one another.
Right.
So being able to rise to that occasion, that is truly incredible.
Well, a lot of support, you know. I have a great husband. My mom helped me with the children, so I didn't do it alone.
Yeah. No, hey, well, that's it right there. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah.
All right, very cool. So kind of switching gears, taking a look at where we are at right now. Obviously, as a country, there's a lot of stuff that's going on with the pandemic, civil unrest, upcoming elections. So running a firm in these uncertain times, being a community leader, a wife, a mother, it's a lot, right? So when we go back to taking a look at, you know, those years where you got married, you had a child, you opened your firm, taking a look at what's going on right now, all the different hats that you wear, how do you manage it all?
Well, I just go on vacation a lot. I'm joking,
Balance, yes.
I'm joking, but I'm not. Balance is exactly the answer. So I think, the important thing for me in my life, and it's applicable to a lot of people out there, is technology that breeds flexibility. And having the flexibility is what is really valuable, right? There's no replacement for hard work, right? There's no secret sauce where you work 2 hours a day and you're uber successful.
Right.
Unless maybe you're Bill Gates, but I'm not there. So it's really a balance, but I think we're in a unique position in this time that we have the technology. Particularly during COVID, frankly, it's been easier because courthouses are closed. So everything's doomed for us and a lot of other people. And so you can go on vacation or go somewhere and still work while you're there. You can, access from anywhere. Everywhere has internet pretty much. So it really is the balance in trying to figure out what works for you. I personally, unfortunately or fortunately, don't compartmentalize. So it works for me, meaning I work at home a lot of nights, but there are times during the day where I'm with my kids or I go see them at a school performance or whatnot. So my life is a blend of all day kids, all day work. That doesn't work for everybody, but that's kind of what I found. So you have to find what works for you. And that's kind of helped me.
Yeah, that's really insightful. So it's interesting, right? You've worked so hard, you've attained so much, and you have so much still that I know you want to accomplish, right? Yeah. But as a business owner, and I remember, my days being a business owner, fear is a very real thing, right? You're constantly thinking about what's the next fire to put out. What are some potential roadblocks, right? So for you and your role as an entrepreneur and a business owner, what role has fear played for you?
I think fear is a motivator. It's always funny, like I have financial goals weekly, right? And if it's like Friday and I haven't hit it, like I absolutely am like telling my husband, like, I got to hustle, like give me whatever. If we're somewhere, I'm like, you got to give me an hour. Like and so I start figuring out ways and doing stuff. So it really makes me hustle. It motivates me. It makes me get a little more creative in different ways. So it's a big motivator for me.
Yeah. I think it's really what you just said. So the idea of having weekly goals, right? That there's a lot to be said, like, what's driving the point of those goals in the first place? Sure. And so being able to have that fear of, I'm not going to hit it, right? And being able to understand and put it in its place and say, no, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do it. One way or the other, it's going to happen, right?
Right. Or like a fear of a client not being happy for any reason is real. And so that motivates me to work extra hard. And, I know a lot of my colleagues, like 5 o'clock hits, they're done. And I'm like, you can't, in my mind, do this job and have that attitude. And so to me, again, the fear of a client going to bed with anxiety or being unhappy or unrestful means I will call them at 6:30, 7:30 at night. So I often work nights or weekends. I've worked every single vacation I think I've ever taken. I think I've worked every day, including the day I gave birth to both my kids. But that doesn't mean for hours, but that means I've never like shut it off. But that's my personality. That's not everybody, and that doesn't work for everybody. But yeah. I enjoy working.
No, but that's an incredible thing, right? It's just truly finding what works for you. And I think in a day and age where so many folks, they don't know what works for them because they've never given themselves the opportunity to go explore. It's just been do without being able to take a step back and say, is this really the ideal sense and feel how I want my career to go? So many folks don't stop and question those things. So I applaud you for obviously doing that, recognizing it, and now actually living that life. I mean, that's incredible.
You have to work on the business, not just in the business, right? So that's kind of my mentality there.
I love it. All right. So what are 3 things, right, that you recommend to any business owner or entrepreneur who's tuning in right now? What would those 3 things be?
I think number 1 would be never stop dreaming, right? Yeah. It's never going to happen if you don't dream it, right? So like when I was in law school and I didn't really want to study that hard, and I was like, I'm going to own my own firm, and all those people working way too hard were like, whatever, that girl, the party girl. So I just kept dreaming and I did it, and they're not really doing that great. But no, seriously, never stop dreaming, for real though. You've always got to have another goal. You've always got to have another place you want to go, no matter what it is. I mean, if it's a hobby, if it's a sport, if you're achieving, a greater weight for squats, whatever it is in life, you've always got to have another place. You've got to see something ahead. And so I think never stop dreaming is definitely my first.
Yeah.
My second is definitely work harder and smarter every single day. So that's kind of and then my third is really have a coach or mentor. I can't tell you how easy it is to get caught up in the day-to-day, like you said, and just setting aside that time, weekly or monthly or whatever it is, to have somebody help you with the blind spots or help you look at other things or perspective. It is so important, and brings, a really good asset and can really help grow wherever you want to grow. So I think a coach or a mentor is just definitely necessary.
I think that's fantastic, because going back to what you said earlier, how important it is to work on the business, not just in the business. The same applies for yourself, right? Working on yourself as opposed to doing what you do, right? And running all those different loops and those models that push forward how it is that you achieve success and accomplishments, but really giving yourself the opportunity to align with folks that you look up to, that you can learn from, that help you get better every step of the way. So that's wonderful. So wrapping up, Christina, so if you could share with folks, what is one thing that is a lot of fun that you enjoy doing? What would that one thing be?
Running.
Seriously, like marathon type running?
So okay. I've only done half marathons, but
okay.
Yes, I've done probably 6, but we do a lot of races. We did the Skyway race. I think for me, that is my stress relief. That is my time away from my phone, generally away from my kids. Sometimes I sun bike rides, but running has been, just the serotonin, the mental health, everything about it. It just sets aside that time. And so for me, I would say that's definitely one of my favorite things, and something that's really helped me to kind of decompress.
Yes, absolutely. Super important. Super important. Well, Christina, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your insight with us. If you could, what is the best way for folks to get a hold of you? Maybe they know someone who's going through some family law issues, they need some guidance, or they may be going through something themselves. What's the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
Sure. It's tampaattorneys.com. That's the best way. I'm happy to give everyone my cell. It's 813-503-5551. Again, that's 503-5551, and it's tampaattorneys.com. And then can I leave you with one last note?
Please.
I heard a song today, and when you mentioned COVID in the world and what's going on mental health, I heard a great song, and I think it would be wonderful that everyone should take a moment and just really listen to the lyrics. It's called I Believe Most People Are Good. And it just sends such a positive message, and it's just got really great lyrics.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Everybody needs a little pick-me-up.
Hey, that's exactly right. Everybody does. It's such a privilege and such an opportunity to have shared this time with you. So folks, for those of you who are tuning in, we will have the replay available on our YouTube channel. So we will have all of her contact information there as well. So by all means, if you want to go back, if you didn't catch something in our discussion or conversation, please tune into our YouTube channel and our website and send us any questions that you may have. We will make sure that we get them answered by Christina and her firm. Christina, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
You too. Thanks, Gino.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.